Cuba, it's me, Elian Habanero, episode 18 of the W.I.L.L.I.W show. Now folks, I talked about yesterday, this is gonna be my top 10 favorite Undertaker matches. Now, you gotta remember, when I was a kid, I was so into Undertaker, so most of my matches are old ones, because once you get to be an adult, and you don't believe in it like you used to when you were a kid, and plus you become a wrestler, so you kind of nitpick matches more than you did as a kid. Like, work rate actually counts now. So a lot of them are older. But Undertaker had such an impact on my life. Jake the Snake used to be my favorite. And then 1990, I was 8 years old, Survivor Series, Undertaker came out and he blew my mind. I was terrified of him. But for some reason I liked him, which was weird because like as a kid I was never into horror movies or anything like that. But he struck a chord with me. I had nightmares about him, but yet I still couldn't stop watching. And his whole career, he blessed me. I was so grateful to be able to watch like 28 years of him. Just amazing, just amazing. So anyway, let's do this. Top 10 Undertaker matches that Elian Habanero loves. Number 10 was the SummerSlam 97 match versus Bret Hart. Now, with Shawn Michaels as the guest referee. See, the thing about it was, I didn't used to care if Undertaker could wrestle good, but that was the first time where I was like, wow, he can really go. He's not just playing his character. Well, he was, but I mean, he could really go with anybody and have a fantastic match. Plus the finish of the match where Bret spit in Shawn's face and Shawn went to hit him with a chair and then hit Undertaker. I was sad because I really wanted Undertaker to win the title then, but it was just so well done. Shawn had to count the 3. And that was like my breakout match for Undertaker where I was like, he can really go toe-to-toe, not just do like some bumps and play his gimmick. Number 9 would be SummerSlam 94, The Undertaker versus The Undertaker. Now, when Undertaker lost that Royal Rumble match and he was gone for such a long time, I was very sad. Like, it was almost depressing for me to watch wrestling because I didn't know. I was a kid. Like, I thought maybe he was gone forever. I didn't know the way the business worked. And then I heard Ted DiBiase saying he found The Undertaker and he brought out this evil Undertaker. And, like, I knew. I'm like, it looks just like him. But I knew it wasn't him. And then Paul Bearer saying no. And they had Leslie Nielsen involved. And then the match. Undertaker comes out wearing purple. Like, the good Undertaker. It was just really well done, especially for a young kid. I really liked that whole angle. They did it really well. He really looked like him. So great, so great. Number 8 would be versus Shawn Michaels, their first WrestleMania match. I believe it was WrestleMania 25. The other match where Shawn retired was good too. But to me, that one, they could never follow. No one could ever follow. That's got to be in the top 10 greatest matches of all time. So WrestleMania 25, that is probably the best match Undertaker ever wrestled in his career. Quite possibly. So that is number 8. Number 7 would be versus Hulk Hogan at Survivor Series 91 when he won the title. Now, I knew he was a bad guy, but I didn't care. It was like before, like Stone Cold. When he was doing bad things, people would just cheer him. I just wanted Undertaker to win. But also being a kid that grew up in the Hulk Hogan era, I didn't give him a chance. I just figured it'd be another thing where Hogan would win. And I wanted Undertaker to win, but I just thought there is no chance. He's not going to win. Hulk's just going to beat him, and then that's it for Undertaker. And then he's going to go back down to the mid-card. And so when Ric Flair came out and he pinned him, I was like beyond ecstatic. I blew my mind. Undertaker had won the title. So you can imagine how I felt 3 days later on Tuesday in Texas when he lost it back. I was just like, come on, like really? But it was still, when that happened, that was a great moment in time. So that's my number 7. Number 6 would be, 10, 9, 8, 7. Number 6 would be versus Mankind in the Boiler Room Brawl. That was fantastic. When Mankind came in, I just felt he played his character so well. He was the perfect opponent for Undertaker. And then plus, like, that they didn't have, like, the crowd sound out there. And, like, it was just them and you could hear them and, like, some of Mankind's noises. And it was just very believable. Like, it just seemed like they weren't working. It seemed like maybe they were really hated each other and like they're both really crazy, and it was just, I had never seen anything like that before. So that's my number 6. Number 5. Number 5 would be the first Hell in a Cell match. Yeah, because number 10 was Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart. Number 9 was versus the other Undertaker. Number 8, Shawn Michaels WrestleMania. Number 7, Hulk Hogan. Number 6, Boiler Room Brawl. So number 5 would be the first Hell in a Cell versus Shawn Michaels. Now, that match was not only fantastic, but when Kane came out, I was like really scared for Undertaker. I'm like, oh no, he's never going to be able to beat this guy. It was a great match. It was a great way to introduce Kane. And I was just like, uh-oh, like we have some problems. Being a die-hard Undertaker fan, I was like, what do we have in store here? Number 4 would be the other Hell in a Cell versus Mankind. Because going in, I was like, there's no way they could have a better match than Undertaker had versus Shawn Michaels in the cell. Well, I was wrong. I remember my friends were over watching the pay-per-view at my house, and when he threw him off of that cell, like, we were in complete shock. We thought he was dead. That match inspired me to be a wrestler. I was like, I know I'm not big or strong or fast, but, like, if I have passion and I just have the willingness to put my body through anything, and then Mankind turned face off that, basically, like, that, I had never seen anything like that before, and that just made me, like, I can do this. I can do this because of Mankind. Number 3, might get a lot of laughs about this one. I loved versus Giant Gonzalez at WrestleMania 9. At Royal Rumble 93, when Giant Gonzalez came in, like, I really wanted Undertaker to win the Royal Rumble. And when Giant Gonzalez came in and manhandled Undertaker like no one had ever done before, like, I was like, in fear for him, like, wow. And then plus, I couldn't wait to see the match. And then also, like, that was the first time I'd ever really seen Undertaker, like, in the lights. Like, I know WrestleMania 8, but it wasn't the same, like this one just, like, it was so bright, and he came out with that hawk. And then the chloroform. Oh my god, the chloroform. So that, to me, was my number 3 match. It just stuck out in my mind. When I had that VCR tape, I watched the whole WrestleMania 9, and then I rewound it, and I watched that match, like, 10 more times. Like, it just, I didn't know what to do. But the best part to me was after they took him out on the stretcher, he came back. And I was just like, yes, see? You can't keep Undertaker down. My number 2 favorite match ever of Undertaker was versus Yokozuna, Royal Rumble 94. That match just, like, it was so well done. It was the best casket match he had ever been in, especially up until that point. And then when the other guys came in, and it wasn't just like 2 guys came in, beat him up, and then that was it. They kept letting Undertaker come back, and no matter how many the numbers, he kept coming back. He kept coming back, and more guys would come in, and then he'd fight them all. And then finally, Fuji got a hold, or Jim Cornette, I can't remember who, someone got a hold of the urn, and then, like, the smoke came out. And then finally, there was, like, 11 guys, like, almost the entire heel roster. They finally stuffed him in the casket. And, like, I felt tears running down here. But then, the whole thing after, where they had the camera in the casket, and he said he will not rest in peace. And then the lightning hit, and his soul came up. That just, so well done. I had never seen anything like that in my whole wildest imaginations, and I just loved it. I felt like Yoko and Undertaker were great opponents for each other. And my number 1, might get a few stickers, but hey, my number 1 Undertaker match was WrestleMania 8 versus Jake the Snake Roberts. Now, to me, this was like a passing of the torch. My favorite wrestler was Jake the Snake, but then when Undertaker come, he totally blew Jake out of the water. But Jake was still my number 2. And then I always cheered for Undertaker, but I didn't feel like anybody else did. And then finally, he became a good guy, and he turned on Jake the Snake, who he didn't really have a choice. Jake was so evil. And then he tombstoned him on the floor. I couldn't believe it. It was a short match, and it was just, it was like my wildest dreams come true. I just loved that match versus Jake the Snake. Maybe not now, like I watch it now and it still brings the nostalgia factor, but when I was a kid watching that in 1993, I believe that would be, no, it wouldn't be 93, it would be 92, because it was WrestleMania 8. So I was 10 years old, and that just blew me away. So thank you, Undertaker. There's so many other great memories that I'd love to share, but this is it. My top 10 favorite Undertaker matches. This is the W.I.L.L.I.W show, which stands for Wrestling is Life, Life is Wrestling, episode 18. Remember, like, or you get a leg drop. Comment, or you get a clothesline. Tell me your favorite Undertaker matches. And subscribe, or you'll get a suplex. I am Elian Habanero. I love wrestling. Cuba!